Wisdom, stand to right, let us listen to the Holy Gospel. Peace be with all.
And with your spirit.
Reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory be to you, Lord, glory be to you.
Let us be attentive. At that time, Jesus re-entered the boat, made the crossing, and came back to his own town. There the people at once brought to him a paralyzed man lying on a mat. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, "Have courage, son, your sins are forgiven." At that, some of the scribes said to themselves, "The man blasphemes." Jesus was aware of what they were thinking and said, "Why do you harbor evil thoughts? Which is less trouble to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or 'Stand up and walk'? To help you realize that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins, he then said to the paralyzed man, 'Stand up, roll up your mat and go home.' The man stood up and went toward his home. At the sight, a feeling of awe came over the crowd, and they praised God for giving such authority to man.
Glory be to you, Lord, glory be to you.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, glory be to Jesus Christ. Slava Isusu Christu. It is always a conflict between human beings against God, whether direct or indirect, questioning whatever God commands to do is good or bad. Questioning, when we get to the Old Testament, to New Testament, we see how stubborn human beings can be without knowing the perspective, being unfaithful, undermining God's authority all the time. In this very short pericope, we've heard word authority twice. For us, it has different connotation. For those people who are coming, especially, who had the experience of living in Soviet Union or close to it, authority has no good meaning. It's exercising power without any responsibility. It's taking lives for nothing. It's just like something regular or daily. And of course, when we think in a free world, in Western civilization, authority also became a word which actually talks about or explains not being elected to care or to facilitate life of humans who elected, who wanted changes, who wanted to strengthen the authority of law. So everybody is equal, it's about justice. But unfortunately, we hear the feedbacks about different parties, about different representatives in the level of the state, of the country, and so forth. So for us, this word authority is just to grab it, to be elected, and then abuse it until you are accused of something and try to defend yourself in court. And at the end, we know that very few are actually, if we may use the word, punished justly. Just very few of them, because they can pay good lawyers or liars and so forth. And that's why I think this notion in humanity inside that its authority is abusing, is grabbing something, was applicated into God. So God wants to rule over us. Let's have a king, Israelites said. Let's have a king like everybody else. And God says, you were in theocracy when God was directly talking to you, and now you want a person who will be abusing you. And we know it from the history. Look how people lived under the kings. Even today, they have to pay extra taxes for the kings. Very nice. God's authority is different. God is the one who always makes an effort. God never abuses human being. God always comes to help. I encourage you to read the Old Testament. Beautiful, beautiful story. We would say it was evil, cruel, bloodthirsty. Look around. Do we live in a different world now? No. No sword, just the missiles. But the missiles kill more than the sword. You don't see the devastation. It's even more cruel. So coming back to the Old Testament, God always faithful to His word. Always. And He says, don't do this, because He knows that it'll cause something bad to the Israelites. And of course, that's our human nature. They first, at the beginning, they stick to it. But later on, they fall off. And then, when they come and ask God, He always forgives them. He always comes to help. When we looked at Jesus in the New Testament, He was always ready to listen, to help, to intervene, to defend, to move with mercy, to say a word of life, to be with, to give up His life for. That's God's authority, which is totally different to human one. Also, when Jesus talks to a man who is paralyzed, and we have to understand this in a pattern of the story of a man born blind, when for the society and for the people, when something is wrong with a human being physically, it must be a sin, cause of sin. I think many people even today think the same. If something wrong happens, it must be wrongdoing of somebody within the immediate family or distant family. But Jesus said in the first example about man born blind, that's not his sin or his parents. Today He says to a man, your sins are forgiven. Please do not sin anymore. God knows something hidden within. And God gives this authority to forgive sins in His name to men. Because at the end, the crowd said, God gave authority to men, in plural. Jesus gave this authority to His disciples. It's a sacrament of penance, confession, forgiveness of sins. We touched this topic many times. The importance of sacrament of penance. Unfortunately, today psychology wants to throw the sacrament aside, take a place of sacrament of penance. Many people who are very habits, priests, bishops, the other level, nuns, monks, they are excited at being professionals in psychology, and they think that they will explain everything, that it's probably some kind of psychological stuff. Of course, psychology has its place, because something happens in human life. They know, they learn how to help people realize what caused this state of their mind and how to help them to facilitate, to resolve this. But sacrament of penance, the forgiveness from God, bring person at peace with other people and with itself, with oneself. It's something which pertains only to God. God who gives it to his disciples. Today, this small episode reminds us about importance of God's authority, which is different from human one. God's authority, which is kind, merciful, and loving. So we should not be afraid of God and of his sacraments. Amen.